history. My name is Riley Zinski. We have two other people on the set. Hello, my name is Blanca Steele.
And my name is Tori Jones.
We are here to show you some interesting things about Almond-Bancroft in central Wisconsin.
Hey Blanca, did you know there's a historical society in town?
Yeah, oh yeah, I think we took a trip down there. Now we have a video from Mr. Poggle.
Yeah, that's my grandpa. Take it away, Grandpa.
That was donated by a lady that taught in Almond schools for 50 years. When she got out of high school, she went to college for 2 years and became a teacher. And then the next 50 years, she worked for the Almond School District. Her name was Angie Sheldon, and her last job, she had Mr. Collins' job. Back then, we called it a librarian, but she was a history teacher before that. So that was a dress donated by her, and so that is a very interesting dress, very fine lace over a light brown layer. Here's an old world map. It's obsolete, obviously. A lot of the countries have different names today. Here's an old teacher's desk filled with lots of school books from different years. Those are what desks looked like at one time in the school. And there's a hole in the desk there. What was that hole for?
Ink.
Ink. So instead of writing with pens and pencils, one thing they did write with is pens like this. Have you ever written with this kind of pen?
Yeah.
You got to dip it and write, dip it and write. And that was the inkwell.
Art class.
Have you seen the TV show Little House on the Prairie?
Yes.
Have you ever seen the episodes where the boys would get in trouble in school by doing something with the girls' braids?
Yeah.
What would they do? Put them in the inkwell.
Oh.
And so they'd get ink on their hair. That would be kind of frustrating, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so luckily the ink wells are gone, and we replaced those. And before that, this was a personal blackboard, and they're made out of slate. So this was, instead of having a notebook, you'd have a slate board. And instead of having a pen or a pencil, you'd have another piece of stone here. And then you would write on it. So if I wanted to write hello, the first Etch-a-Sketch.
The first tablet.
First tablet. So this is what Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone invented, right?
Yeah.
So this is what they call the slate tablet. And they would do their math on here. 3 plus 3 equals 6. And they'd have to show it to the teacher. And that's how they'd do some of their homework.
Oh, I'd hate being in class and hearing all this squeak.
So this was a Stone Age computer. So you're going to maybe get laptops. This is the first laptop. Not very much technology. There's lots of old books. We talked about that. There's some presidents in the room. Who's that?
Abraham
Who's this?
Lincoln. George Washington.
Who's this?
Carver.
Carver.
John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy.
Carver.
I love
Okay. There is an old band uniform. And at one time, the marching band wore cowboy hats. There's a
Cowboy
hat that went with that band uniform. That was donated by the Helmerich family. There's some pictures behind the girls, if you step aside, of some old school scenes and basketball teams. So check out those uniforms. How many of you guys and girls would want to wear uniforms like that?
not me.
Look at all the kids and what they're wearing in school. Bib overalls were common. They were farm kids.
Cold work.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So do you think those kids in that classroom had a lot of fashion sense?
No.
Do you think there was a lot of competition in those years to have fancy tennis shoes or
No.
flip-flops?
Yes.
No.
They were happy if they had a pair of clothes that weren't torn up or had holes in them or dirty. And so clothing was very, very important when people dressed up, but for everyday things it was very common clothing. You can see the teacher standing in the room, even is quite common looking clothes. That room was in the high school, and none of you probably, have you ever seen a picture of the old high school?
Yeah. No.
In the middle of what we have school now, there used to be a 3-story building, and that was this, actually 4-story because there's an attic too. But that was the 3rd story of that building. There was a basement, there was a first floor, basement, first floor, second floor, and an attic. And that was, when I was in school, I was in that same classroom, and that was a science room. But that back then, it looks like an elementary classroom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that was upstairs in the old building.
Good job, Grandpa.
Hey, your grandpa does a really good job down there.
I know he does. Okay, we have a riddle. Let's see if you can solve it. What telephone number does a pig call when he gets into trouble?
Well, let's think about it, but for now, enjoy the video.
Really? I heard that you have a video from Nancy Seaman. Let's see what you have.
Hi, we're here recording AB History with Nancy, and we're just going to ask her some questions.
So what was your childhood like? My childhood? Much different than it is this day and age. If you missed the bus going home, we had to walk home. And I lived 2.5 miles out north of Almond. You could call your parents, but not everybody had 2 vehicles. We only had like 1 vehicle. If it was a nice day, we could ride our bike to school like you guys did.
How long do you live in Almond?
All of my life,
So since you were born?
since I was born. My father went to school here. I went to school here. All my kids have gone to school here.
How long? Can you tell us some stories about like when you lived here, like some interesting stories?
Do you want any for high school? I have with me, because we are doing alumni book. When we were freshmen, you don't have it now, but we used to have freshman initiation. This is one of the things we had to say. As we were freshmen, the seniors were the one that initiated us in high school. And this one went, we the freshies of the school, small, slow, and stupid too, bow down to the sophomore rules. You are the rulers standing high, you hear and answer your every cry. For without you we would die, knowing that we have no say. Light and gay we prance away on this our initiation day. And we had to be down on our hands and knees and bow to the sophomores while we were saying this, and we had to have this memorized. And then they would pull pranks on us. We had an evening with initiation. I need to bring it in here. But we would have to dress up in some weird costumes that they told us what to wear. And it was very challenging. And then we had get-togethers like you guys do for, evidently here we had a baby doll day that we all could bring our baby dolls to school. And we would have normal Christmas programs and those kind of things.
So like when they told you to dress up, did like certain people tell you, or like the whole class?
No, the sophomores told each individual person what they had to wear. My sister, and I can remember hers even better than mine, I had to wear pajamas. My sister had to wear, I believe it was sort of like pajamas, but she had to wear fins for when you go swimming, and the snorkels, and the whole, all day long you had to wear them.
Oh my.
And if you were caught without your costume on, or what you call it, that they would tell you, then you had to get down and say this little saying again. Every time they caught you doing something you're not supposed to, then you had to say the little saying. And I can remember one of the initiations going to, and I don't remember if it was mine or my brother's, but it used to be, we did not have the gymnasiums here. We had to walk down to the old community center, which is downtown.
Yeah.
I think you've all seen it down there.
My mom told me about that.
And I remember one of the kids had to take a roll of toilet paper, had to unroll it from one end of the gym to the other, and had to count each little square in the toilet paper. That was part of his initiation.
Oh my. Okay. What was your favorite things about living here?
That is a small community. People are friendly. It's nice to know everybody around here, the sports, all the great events that go on. And it always amazes me the talent that we have in our community.
Okay, did you witness any historical events? If so, how did they impact you?
There was a very bad tornado, and I couldn't tell you exactly what year it was, but it hit Bancroft. It hit north of Almond, up near Highway 54. And I remember Bancroft, homes that were almost destroyed. The barn up by 54 was destroyed. They had to replace it. Was one of the things I remember.
What are your opinion of home, is it bad community, good community?
Oh, I think it's a wonderful community. I think it's a very friendly, generous community. Anytime there's important issues go on, be it a good event, be it a bad event, because we've had students and people through the years that have been involved with bad accidents or bad situations, and the community always pulls together, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, like with the market benefit.
Yes, that's a very good one.
What did Almond used to look like before you came?
When I was growing up, on the main street was a gamble store on the corner. It was a hardware store besides a gamble store, and when I was about 1969 approximately, the store burned down, and so we lost a big building there. There was a small store between a couple of the other ones that used to be a drugstore. And it used to have, you've seen pictures in the old stores where there's a soda fountain there, where you go and have soda from the soda fountains. There used to be one of those there, and local people used to own it. And there was a building we had on the east side that has also been taken down, but it's where I, as about your age, growing up and being involved with 4-H, we would go there and do our square dancing there.
That's cool.
Because I was, born and raised with 4-H just like you are, and my parents were 4-H leaders, where we became leaders, and I'll pass it on to your parents and you guys.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was very informational.
Yes, that was Tori. Julie, what did you think about that video?
I think it was very interesting.
Answer for the riddle of what telephone number does a pig call when it gets into trouble is swine11.
Okay, now we have a video with Mr. Rickle from Jenny and Osvaldo. Let's see.
Hi, my name is Jenny. And my name is Osvaldo, and we're with Mr. Rickle.
Hello.
What was your childhood like?
I grew up in a small town in northwestern Wisconsin called Chautauqua. It's up north of Eau Claire. And, growing up, my father was always a superintendent of the schools. And so that's kind of how I ended up where I am today. I went to school at UWSP. I got my degree in mathematics, and I taught math for a while, and then I've got this job. So I've been here now for 8 years.
Do you have any stories
About what?
school?
About school? We had some good times when I was growing up. We had a lot of fun. We had an elementary school that was separate, and so we had a huge playground, and I can remember playing softball tournaments. That was always my favorite time of year. I couldn't wait till the softball tournament started in the springtime. And so they'd divide us all up into teams, and then every day at lunchtime we'd play softball the whole recess time. And that was one of my favorite memories from when I was real little.
Witness historical events, of any historical events?
Have I witnessed any historical events? I can remember when I was in 3rd grade watching the Challenger space shuttle explode. Actually, I remember watching that on TV. Most of you guys probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but if you go in the library, there's a picture actually. I know Mr. Founts has a picture of all the astronauts from Challenger hanging up in the library, and I do remember watching that pretty clearly. As well as 9/11, when the towers got hit. I was actually teaching math over in Oshkosh at the time, and I was supervising a study hall, and it was in a cafeteria, and I could hear on the radio in the cafeteria area where the cooks were preparing lunch and everything. I could hear their radio, and I could hear little snippets of, that there was a terrorist attack and everything. And sure enough, by the time I got back to my room, everybody had the TVs on and was watching what was going on. So pretty horrific event.
What was prom like?
What was prom like when I was a kid? I got some terrible pictures of me in tuxes going to prom, but I remember probably the most stressful part of prom is trying to find a date for prom and asking that person to go to prom and then finding a place to go out to eat and, that whole thing. I mean, I remember it being more stressful than fun.
Do you know how Almond used to look?
I've just heard stories about Almond in the past. Since I've been here, it's kind of looked the same. But I know that there used to be 2 or 3 car dealerships here and a number of hardware stores and grocery stores, and it was actually quite a booming little town for a while. And I think that was back when the railroad was still going through here. Since then I know things have moved out of town and everything. Yeah, so.
How long have you worked here?
I've been here for 8 years, so next year will be my 9th school year. Being here, I started in 2005, so fall of 2005. So.
What are people like here?
I think Almond is kind of unique in the fact that we are so small, and it's a very tight-knit community. I don't live in Almond, but I know most of the people in Almond from being here as long as I have, and I've gotten to know a lot of people, whether they got kids in school or not. I've created a lot of connections and just a lot of wonderful people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have a nice day.
Thanks.
That was their school principal.
That's right.
What are the jobs of principal anyways?
Keeping the school safe.
Creating good future leaders.
Hiring good teachers with better education.
Here's another riddle for you guys.
Why does the computer stay home from school?
We will let you think about that for a sec.
The answer is because it had a virus.
Now we have a video from Prairie interviewing Sheena Rosinski.
Hi, I'm with Tina Rosinski. I'm going to interview her. Okay, so how long have you lived here?
How long have I lived here? I was born I wasn't born here, but I lived here when I was a baby, then I moved away, and then came back in 3rd grade, so, oh gosh, 25 years, 30 years?
Can you tell me any stories about your childhood as an Almond student?
Oh, I went to high school here, I went to elementary here, oh, I have lots of stories. Stories. I played volleyball, basketball, softball in Almond. I actually, when I was in middle school, we also had cheerleading in middle school, so I did cheerleading in middle school. It was pretty exciting. We had all kinds of clubs that we were in. Future Homemakers of America, where we learned to cook and sew, those kind of clubs. So those were some memories.
Have you witnessed any cool events that can be called historical?
Oh, probably in 1984, what was then called Farm Progress Days happened in Almond, and that was a huge event. It took up probably 80 acres of fields that were Burns's fields, and they had all kinds of farm equipment and all kinds of stuff set up on all these fields, and people from all over the state of Wisconsin would come to Farm Progress Days. Today it's called Farm Technology Days, but that was pretty historic. There was a lot of people in Almond for this event. It was pretty neat.
What is your opinion of Almond or Bancroft area?
What is my opinion? I love the Almond and Bancroft area. I love the community. It's a nice small community, and we have a lot of different things going on for such a small community too. It's kind of neat.
What is your favorite thing about living here and why?
My favorite thing is probably because it is small. You can live in Almond and it kind of feels like you're in town, but it's not. You have a lot of area, a lot of land around you. You're not living right next to each other, and
There's no stoplights in Almond, that's kind of cool. I like the small class sizes. You guys get one teacher for about every 20-some students. That's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for interviewing me.
Hey, that's my mom.
Oh yeah, she's the lady who marks the lunch numbers when we eat lunch and breakfast.
She's really good at that. Now we have a video from Breely interviewing Mrs. Larry.
Hi, I'm Breely with I'm here with Pat Lear and this is Belanca. Okay, we're just gonna ask her some questions. How long have you lived here?
51 years.
Can you tell us any stories about your childhood as an Almond student?
Yes, I can. I came here when I was in first grade, and when I was in first grade, I was the prom page. And I had all my years of elementary school here, and then I went to high school here, and I was the prom queen. And I graduated from here in 1963, and I was the first class to graduate in the East Gym. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Have you witnessed any cool events that can be called historical?
Yes, I can. When I first started school, I came to the brick schoolhouse. When you walked into the school, you would either go upstairs a flight or downstairs. And then you'd have to take another flight of stairs and you'd go to the third floor. When I was in first grade, there were 4 classrooms. So I had the same classroom for my first and second grade, the same classroom for third and fourth, the same for fifth and sixth, and the same for seventh and eighth. Then I was a freshman, and we had freshman initiation, and we went upstairs to the next floor. Well, as I believe I was a junior, and they tore the schoolhouse down completely. The high school was on the 4th floor, and so was the principal's office or the superintendent. And the first floor was where all those classrooms were, and then we also had a sick room. And then in the back was the home ec room and the shop. And then you'd go downstairs, and there was a girls' locker room and a boys' locker room, and the restrooms in the cafeteria was on the other side. They tore that building down, and they built this new building. And I remember that. I have a picture of it somewhere.
What is your opinion of the Almond or Bancroft area?
I like the area very much as I've been here. When I graduated, I moved to Chicago, and I worked for Sears and Roebuck they called it the parent offices, in the offices where they did the management of the monies, and I worked there for 3 years. Well, then I met my husband, and after 3 years we moved back here to Almond. And we lived out in the country for about, a year. Then we moved into town in our house.
What is your favorite thing about living here and why?
I like living in Almond because I feel safe. And I do wish that our community would grow a little. But maybe it will. It seems to be coming back slowly. And I like knowing everyone. But my favorite thing is I feel safe.
She used to do what my mom is doing, but she's retiring this year.
I'm going to Mr. Mary Butch.
I think all of us will.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, now we have a fact for you.
Did you know?
Wild rabbits are considered to be pests by humans because they do a lot of damage to crops.
That was very interesting fact, Tori. Where did you hear that from?
I heard it from Chase Brzezinski.
He is my cousin.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, now we have a video from Ruth and Zanaya and Chase Brzezinski.
Good morning.
My name's Michelle. I'm the district bookkeeper. You guys want to ask me some questions?
Yes. What was your childhood like?
What was my childhood like? My childhood was wonderful. I went to camp in the summertime and went to school. I loved school. I was a straight A student.
How long have you been living here?
How long have I been living here? I moved here in December of 1996. So I've been here for 13, 14, 15, 16 years.
stories about Almond?
Stories about Almond? There's plenty of stories about Almond, but what in particular?
Was there like a ghost here in Almond?
Was there a ghost here in Almond? I have not heard any ghost stories about the village of Almond.
What's your opinion in living in Almond?
Living in Almond, I really like living in Almond. It's a small community and everybody knows everybody and kind of looks out for everybody. Feel safe with the kids walking down to the store on the corner and coming back, and generally it's a nice community.
What was prom like?
What was prom like? Prom here or my prom? My prom was a lot of fun. We went out for dinner and then came back and it was at one of them was at the, I can't even remember, like a little convention kind of type center. And then we had a DJ and we danced and did the court thing and took pictures, and it was a lot of fun.
What's your favorite thing about Almond?
My favorite thing about Almond? Well, before I moved here in 1996, I was from Illinois. I lived in Illinois. And in Illinois, there's a lot of flat cornfields, and there's not a whole lot of trees depending on what area you lived in. And I lived in an area where there's a lot of cornfields. And up here, even though there's a lot of fields, there's still a lot of trees and a lot of parks and a lot of nature, and I really enjoyed that. So I like all of the nature, I guess, that's in the state of Wisconsin and around Almond.
So that's how Almond looked like? A lot of nature, trees?
I think so. You mean what it looked like years ago?
Yeah.
What it looked like years ago was, I saw pictures of, reminded me of an old western kind of type town. And some of the buildings downtown on Main Street are still that way, where they have the high roofs. So I don't know where that picture is, but they have a picture with the horses all pulled up and the little like fence where you wrap the leader from the horse around the pole. So it I think the buildings downtown are about the same as what they were years and years ago. But it was I think it was a mud, like clay kind of dirt road. There was no pavement, there were no sidewalks, but the buildings are, I think, about the same.
Did you ever witness any historical events?
Historical events. The other day when they interviewed me, I said like Tater Toot I would consider a historical event. Going to Tater Toot every year is probably a historical event. There's the parade every time, and you see all of the old vehicles and the old fire trucks, and I think there's some history there. They have the floats, the potatoes. They always have that float with all the potatoes on it. So I would say that's history. And then there's the building downtown too, across from the library. I don't know what they call it, but that's got some history in it too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Please have a good
Case
day.
Brzezinski's mom and my cousin's mom.
Next we have Mrs. Barden, the school secretary.
I think she has to do a lot of work in the school.
She is very busy.
Yes, she is. In fact, she has a video for us.
How long did you live in Almond?
I have lived in Almond my entire life, so I have been here a long time.
So what kind of stories have you heard about it?
About Almond or about the school or
Anything.
what kind of stories? I don't know if I necessarily have many stories about Almond, but I have lots of stories about kids that went to school here and some funny
That'll
things
work.
that happened. And I also have stories about when I went to high school. We had a really good softball team. We got second in state that year. We're the only team that ever went to any kind of. Yes, we were really good. So that was probably the only sports that I know of that went to state from Almond.
Could you do some about the school?
Something about the school. since I've been here, we've had several different principals. And also, I got to come to school and I came to work here. The same teachers that taught me in high school were still here teaching. So I got to be friends with my teachers after I started working here, and that was really odd. That was strange.
So, like, how many years have you been working here?
I have been here almost 30 years now.
What year was that?
I started in 1980, the fall of 83, I started here. I graduated in 82, I went to college for 1 year.
Oh. So why do you like living in Almond?
I like that it's quiet, and you know lots of people, and everybody's very friendly, and I can walk right to work. It's really fast.
So, have you heard anything about paranormal stuff?
You know what? I have not in Almond. I haven't heard. I'd love to hear some stuff like that, but I've heard nothing about ghosts or anything like that. Nobody's told me anything.
Like, how did Almond used to look like?
When I was younger, it had more trees. We've had a lot of trees knocked down from storms and stuff. The school looked a lot different. We didn't have this whole section that we're in now. This was not here. It stopped right up by the auditorium, pretty much, except for the elementary school. And we had a second story that you had to go upstairs to go to class, and it had an attic way up there.
Do you still have the attic?
Nope. They tore that all down when they added this new section in the new high school.
What kind of souvenirs were there after the storm?
After the storm? Mm-hmm. What kind of souvenirs? Good question. I'm not sure there really were any souvenirs from the storm. No, I can't think of anything that really
Okay,
had.
were like the cars the same from now?
When I was in high school, the big thing was Trans Ams, and all the guys had Trans Ams. They were so cool, or Z28s, but no, not a whole lot different.
So, were there taxis?
No, there's never been taxis that I know of.
What kind of plants did they grow?
I would say they're about the same as they are now. Most of the farmers and things, it was mostly potatoes and corn, and nothing really new.
When you were in your childhood, like, did you guys always grow, like, corn and all those, or did you go to the store and buy some?
My mom was not a farmer, so we bought ours, but we lived near a farm, and the farmer gave us a lot of stuff like that. Rhubarb, we had a lot of rhubarb, we grew and that kind of things, but we weren't farmers, so we didn't grow a lot of our own.
Why do you like living? Have you ever seen any, like, interesting things that's different?
About Almond, anything that's different? We've seen, I don't know, I've seen a lot of houses get tore down and lots of new ones get built, but no, Almond's remained pretty much the same. We have less stores and things now. It used to be a lot more stores and things, and there isn't anymore.
Okay. What are your opinions about Almond and your home?
I think it's a very nice place to work and live. I think people would enjoy being here. It's a nice community, and we have a good school.
And there it is.
What does a school secretary do anyway?
Phone calls, operator.
Guidance department and special ed scheduling.
Student info check system.
Why did Cinderella get thrown out of the Rounders team?
Because she kept running away from the ball.
Hey, that's a gym teacher joke.
Mr. Barden is our gym teacher. Speaking of gym teachers, here's a video of Breely and interviewing him.
Oh. Hi, Breely, we're Christy. I'm interviewing Misty. And, so what was your childhood like at Almond?
My childhood?
Yes.
I didn't grow up in Almond.
You didn't?
No, I grew up in Colby, Wisconsin. My childhood was very nice. I grew up with 4 brothers, so there's lots of playing ball and chasing girls.
How long did you live in Almond?
I've been living in Almond for off and on for about, I've been teaching here for 23 years, but living here for maybe 14 or 15 of those years.
Stories of living in Almond?
What?
Do you have any stories of living in Almond?
Stories of living in Almond. Oh man, not that I can think of. It's a nice small community. Not much happens here, so just the way I like it.
What are the people like?
People are very friendly here. So it's a very tight-knit community, and that's what makes it fun here.
Did you witness any historical events? If so, how did the event impact you?
Historical events in Almond. Not that I can think of them.
What is your opinion of Almond?
Of Almond? Again, it's a small community. The school is great. Obviously, the village. I wish there was a few more things to do here, but I guess if you needed things to do, there's other places to go.
Do you know what it used to look like here?
I've seen pictures of like the railroad and things like that, which is kind of cool.
You know where the railroad ran through?
Yeah, just north of town here. So.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I enjoyed the interview. I hope I did justice.
Did you hear the basketballs in the background?
Yeah, I did. What about you, Tori?
Very noisy. Here are some jokes for you guys. What is it when one cow spies on another? A stakeout.
What do you call a cow that only has one leg? A stick!
Why did the little farmer take his cow to church? He heard he was getting a new pastor.
Speaking of farming, we have another video from Tori, and you can Miss Barden.
Hello, my name is Tori, and we're going to ask you some questions about Almond in central Wisconsin.
Okay.
Where did you live in central Wisconsin?
I'm originally from Amherst, and I still live in the Amherst area.
Can you tell me any stories about your childhood?
Oh, I've got tons of stories. I grew up on a dairy farm, so most of my stories revolve around helping out on the farm in the summer, like, you know, getting hit in the head with rocks when we're picking rocks, or falling through holes in the barn floor, that type of thing.
That was interesting.
I agree.
The point of the program was to go through the history of Almond-Bancroft and central Wisconsin. We hope you learned something, and
Let's make some history!
that was interesting.
I agree.
Woo, we forgot to stop!
That's okay, I can cut it out. Hey,
Okay.
so we're good. This is I'm gonna take pieces from this take and pieces from the other take, and I'm gonna edit this video right. But we're gonna watch this video.
Video.
All right, we're back on the attack.
Good job, Grandpa.
Hey, your grandpa does a really good job down there.
I know he does. Okay, now we have
You want wait?
Okay.
You want to restart?
Okay.
So right here. Good job, Grandpa.
Okay, we're restarting.
Once we get down to here, we'll put this away. You get to shake it out, and then we'll move to the next round.
Okay.
All right.
Video.
Okay, go. Video and pause.
All right. Good job so far. This
Okay, shake it
can
off now.
get tossed to the side.
Shake it.
Shake it out. That was the best.
I put my head in it.
I have to say that was the best one yet. You were animated, you smiled, you stood up straight, you took a fake drink of coffee. We're good.
Tori, smile more.
I'm sorry. You do?
No.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Are we ready to rock? Count them down.
Wait, is my hair? Okay, we're all good.
No, we're not all good.
Tori, Tori, your hair.
Wrong thing.
It hurts to smile.
Do you want a hair tie?
No.
It hurts to smile.
Here we go. Here we go. We're already rolling.
Video.
All right. Good job.
Really?
She's a smile. I think she's
Tori, you need a smile.
Tori,
Really?
Tori, it's a teeth. This is under the camera.
Okay. Oh no. Keep camera there. Okay. All right. Are we ready? This is a small one. one. This is a small one. Here we
Oh,
go.
wait, okay, hold on. Okay, we're all good. Hey, that's my mom.
Oh yeah, she's the lady who marks the lunch numbers when we eat lunch and breakfast.
She's really good at that. Now we have a video from Breely interviewing Mrs. Larry. Video.
Wait, let's try the first part
Video.
again.
Cut that
Let's try the. I can't cut out banging. Let's try the first one again because of the banging. Let's try it again. Ready? 3, 2.
Hey, that's my mom.
Oh yeah, she's a lady. Oh.
Ah!
This nutty person. Okay.
Keep doing it.
Let's. You know what? Well, let's try it again. If he bangs, then it's going to be a historical. We knew the roof was fixed on this day. Okay? Let's do it again.
Ready?
Calm down.
Video.
Okay. Try to keep your hands down a little bit because you're like this. Okay. All right.
Blanca, act natural.
All right. Here we go.
Pause.
Yep. And we'll pause. So.
I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I messed that up. That's right. No, this is good. I can chop it right in.
Yeah.
Ready? Here we go.
Can't see no.
3.
Video. Okay. That's Chase's. Okay. Video. Okay. That's Chase's. Where's it? Oh my God. Why can't I say
Chase
it?
Worozinski.
Chase. Okay. Video. And interview him. Video. Okay. Did you hear the pause? Pause.
Here we go.
That was
Now we go to here are some jokes for you guys. And then wait, where are we stopping then? We're stopping at Miss Morgan.
At video. At video.
Okay, we're stopping at video right there. Okay.
Why don't you just use a marker?
Yeah. Sorry.